Okay. So a very good evening and a warm welcome to all attendees and viewers who are watching us live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. We are very warm welcome to the All This Saga series. For quick recap, for those of you who are new to Pick a Book is all about reading, more reading, and inculcating the habit of reading, research, and presenting the summary of it in our regular meeting sessions. Creating a better world by changing the sense of self through the habit of reading is the vision of Pick a Book. Currently, Pick a Book marked its inspiring presence in 4 countries: Sri Lanka, India, Singapore, and UK, with over 1,200 plus readers, 19 plus regions, and 100,000 plus people inspired through our sessions. Pick a Book, while we continue to spread our wings across the globe, Pick a Book has come up with this beautiful initiative, a brand of our own called the Saga series, wherein the authors can reach their readers and individuals with like-minded interests. Authors can also discuss the key insights of their books, and the readers can have this wonderful opportunity to know more about the book from the author himself or herself. So quickly, our guest for tonight is Emilie Lopes and Mayyu Ali, coming, with their wonderful book called Lee Assessment. So quickly to know more about Emilie Lopes and Mayyu. Emilie Lopes is a French journalist who has been working as a freelancer over 10 years, and she is a specialist in Myanmar and the history of Rohingya. Okay, she also works on women's and minority right issues. Journalism has always been a passion for her since she was a child. She loves to travel and discover the world, unknown territories, listen to others tell their stories, and give a voice to those who are too often forgotten in international news. And coming to Mayyu Ali, he was born in 1991 in Myanmar, West Rakhine, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, in June 2012, and Mayyu was stopped from attending Situate University to pursue his degree. In August 2017, his home and village were burned down by Burmese security forces and his family, and he fled to Bangladesh. In 2019, he published his debut poetry book called Exodus, Between Genocide and Me. Exodus depicts pain and sorrows of Rohingya lives behind a genocide against his people in Myanmar. So in August last year, his wife and he were resettled in Canada. So once again, a very warm welcome to both of you, and I'm quite excited to take this further to know more about the book.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, let me take this opportunity on behalf of the entire Pick a Book fraternity to congratulate you both on the success of this book, and we all wish you a long way in writing.
Thanks so much.
Yes. Okay, to start with, I'm interested to know, Emilie, are you an avid reader?
Yes, I am. I read every day whenever I have a free moment. I often read books that have nothing in common. They can be about politics, investigation, or fiction.
Okay.
And it's impossible to run to write without reading a lot.
Okay. Great. So how about you, Mayyu? Are you an avid reader as well?
Yeah, I mean, I love reading, and yeah, so also I believe in reading. Like every time I read work of others writers, so it helped me a lot. And but on the other hand, there's something different. Like for me as a Rohingya, being born in one of the most isolated zone, in Rakhine State. So like in my school life, I never see a library. And yeah, smartphone, internet didn't exist before 2014 in our area. So like, yeah, so, and I could, I started reading book when I joined a humanitarian organization called ACF. And my foreign friend used to bring some book for me when they return from their holidays. So yeah, so I enjoyed like a kid who gets new toys. Yeah, so
that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Okay, so how did your journey as a writer start?
I think it was since 2012. there was a violence in June 2012, and the situation in our area has changed remarkably. And before that violence, I witnessed, the discrimination, the hatred, and the restriction of movement, and to healthcare, education, and so after that violence, so like every day, I witnessed the fire of burning forces by the Burmese security forces, and they start killing and shooting at villagers, indiscriminately, and they rape women and young girls. So yeah, and Myanmar government doesn't allow, foreign-based medias and journalists to enter into Myanmar to monitor the scale of violence, so the world, doesn't know what is exactly happening against my people inside Myanmar. So I started writing and to tell the world and what is exactly happening, against me, my family, and my people.
Yeah, exactly. That is very true. We never knew anything what's happening inside Burma. Uh, so how about you, Emily? So how did your journey as a writer start?
It started when I was a teenager. I did a lot of internship in a local newspaper. And it was an opportunity for me to meet a lot of people, and they tell me their story, and I say, wow, that's wonderful.
Okay.
Every day I meet a different kind of people, and I can write their story, and this is why I wanted to become a journalist.
Okay, so you found your purpose.
Yes, right.
Perfect. So, okay, so what is the story behind this title, Only a Festman, if I'm not wrong? So, why did you choose the title? And the book is written in French, right?
Yeah, for now is just in French, but we hope for an English version soon.
Okay.
So we met with Mayyu in 2018. I was looking for someone to interpret for me in the Rohingya camp, because I had to work on a story about women who were raped.
Okay.
And a journalist friend gave me Mayyu's contact. And we met in Kutupalong, in front of the largest refugee camp in the world.
Okay.
And we spent several weeks working together. And when I discovered the story of Mayyu, the story of a fisherman's son who became a poet, when I discovered also his personality, an humble man who wants to help his community through education and poetry, I wanted to write a book about him.
Okay.
And this is how we met and how we decided to write this book.
That's wonderful. So literature have got two new friends on the platform. Wonderful. So okay, so and Mayyu, what inspired you to get into writing? Like you said, yeah, you have the story behind the pain you all, even your community have gone through, has actually inspired you to get into this writing. So after you met Emilie, so what a change did it bring in you?
In terms of inspiration in writing, the first writer who came into my mind is C.R. Content. He's a prominent Burmese writer, and yeah, he writes to persuade youth and empower youth. So he's very widely respected in Myanmar, and I used to read his book in Burmese when I was in Myanmar. And yeah, also he issues the Best English magazine. It's a monthly issue magazine, and I used to participate, and I used to send my poetry and translation to the magazine, and yeah. So and yes, some of my poems have been published in his magazine, and yeah, and then Rabindranath Tagore remain my favorite, and I love his poetry and his book Gitanjali, and yeah, it's inspire me in many ways. And also The Alchemist of Polo. Yeah, when I was reading the book, and yeah, it was just thought provoking and inspiring, and yeah, so I happened to read some of the yeah
Okay.
later.
Wonderful. So, Emily, who are your favorite authors who inspired you?
There are a lot of authors. As a journalist, there is one person who influenced me a lot. Her name is Florence Obnas. She's a French journalist, a war reporter, but she also wrote many books. There is one I like so much. It's about cleaning ladies, and it was an immersion with these ladies. And I like her ability to be as close to reality as possible. And I also read two books that helped me a lot to write stories. It's the book of Stephen King's about how to write.
Okay.
And also the book of Wiki Murakami that compare the writer's work to long distance runner.
Okay.
And then I have a varied taste. I love classical French author like Zola, Maupassant.
Okay.
And also I am a huge fan of Virginie Despentes. She's a French author, feminist. She's
Okay.
very famous here. And I also like Sally Rooney. There are a lot of writers I like.
Okay, that is wonderful. Okay, so would you like to tell us a bit more about the book? What does the book speak about?
The book is about the first 25 years of my life at the heart of Rohingya genocide in Myanmar. And yeah, as I said earlier, and every day I witness discrimination, persecution. I personally experience, and yeah, also I witness what my family, friends, neighbors, and others member in the community experience, and yeah. So, and also during the violence in August 2017, my home and village were abandoned by Burmese security forces, and my parents I fled to Bangladesh. So, and for last 4 years, and I live in the refugee camp in Cox's Bazar, and yeah, and so basically the book is like about the Rohingya, situation. It's not only about my story, the story of, my family and people. Yeah. So yeah. So I mean, to be precise, as a poet, there are also some poetry and in book, and yeah. So I mean, when you read the book, you can smell the blood of Rohingya genocide in Myanmar. Also, you can test the elimination of Rohingya history and culture.
My goodness. Oh, that is scary. Yeah. Okay. So how did you happen to move to Canada? So from all this that's happening in Burma.
Yeah, so I was in refugee camp, and yeah, and I was under death threat, for what I do, for what I write, and yeah, and I had to hide myself and in an unknown place out of the refugee camp. So, and yeah, I was not able to go back to meet my parents and sibling in the refugee camp. And on the other hand, I was not able to go back to my home country because no, the memory is at the hand of the military coup. They are the military who kill my people and who rape Rohingya women and young girls. So they became the in charge of the country right now, and yeah, so I didn't have other option, and yeah, so I applied for resettlement and to find a safe place so that I can raise my voice and I can publish my work. And yeah, last August, So my wife and I were resettled by the government of Canada. So I'm finally fearless. And that is one of the reasons I finally published my book that I have been keeping in hold for last 3 years when I was in the refugee camp because I was unsafe, and so finally it's published, and I'm happy for that.
Sure. That's a great inspiration for a lot of people out there. Your story should become an inspiration. That's wonderful. Okay, so how about you, Emily? Like, are there any favorite chapters you like in this book?
I like every chapter because I am the first fan of Mayyu.
Okay.
But there is some chapter where we can see the story and the testimonies of women who have been raped, and I think this is very important. This is the story of Mayyu, but we decided to also to write about other Rohingya who have been victim of this genocide, and so the rape is a proof of a genocide. So this is really important to talk about it.
Okay. Okay, fine. So how about you, Mayyu? Are there any interesting chapters, especially, you got emotionally attached to?
I mean, for me, like it's hard, every word is hard to write down because, I personally experienced all this horror, trauma, and pain, and I witnessed what my people, have been through. So whenever I sit down, I sit to write it down, and I have to go through the same situation again, and it hurts me, and I recall all those horror, and the traumas, and it's hard, but I always push myself, I should do it, and through the journey of writing this book, and Emilie has been supportive, and she encouraged me every time I fall down, and so so for me, I mean, every word came from my heart, and it's special for me, and all I want is to tell my story in my own words, what I see with my own eyes, and it's important as a survivor for me, to write, to tell my story myself, and
Great. Right, great. That's I mean, I should say kudos to both of you because you being going through such a pain in your life, and yet still you just mutter the courage to bring your story out to the public through the words. So I should appreciate your efforts of both of you. So yep, good. Okay, so I mean, how much time have you taken to write the book?
We started writing the book, I think, at the end of 2019. And we're supposed to finish the book by the end of 2020 in 1 year. And but there were, the situation has changed. Also, I was unsafe, and I've been through so many things, at risk and under threat, and also sometimes I suffer like a headache in my back. I have been through trauma and fear. So so somehow we completed the first draft in 2021, but I could not publish because I was unsafe, in the refugee camp. So I tried to let the unsafe situation pass. So I mean, it's a long journey, even writing this book, and so finally it's happened, and we are here today.
That definitely needs a pat on your back for sure. Yeah. So what are the difficulties have you faced during, writing this book, apart from, the things that you have to hire and hide the things, being in a refugee camp? So, have you, both of you have faced any trouble in publishing this book, Emily?
For me now, but it was very dangerous for Mayyu to publish the book. So with our editor, our first goal was to see Mayyu free and in a safe place. So what that's what it was not dangerous for me because I live in a free country, but for Mayyu we take a lot of risk, and I admire him for that.
Okay, wonderful. So the book is out on, is it available on Amazon?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Wonderful. So guys, this beautiful book is now available on Amazon for all of you to just buy it and go through it. This is the story of, the real story of a person who has been there seeing in front of, losing so many people just right in front of him. And yet he must mutter the courage to, put all his pain and, the experience in the form of a book. So it's definitely a must-read book. So I hope you all enjoy it. So, okay. So, yeah, can we expect any other book from you in future? Any plans to, or have you already started putting down?
I have a couple of drafts of my work. Is also related to Rohingya situation, mostly about the Rohingya culture that the Myanmar government, has been erasing since decades.
Okay.
And people say when people talk about the Rohingya crisis, they say mostly about the killing, all other physical destruction, but at the heart of this genocide, we lost our culture and we lost our, tradition and literature as well. So yeah, so I want, to bring, the Rohingya culture and tradition and the literature.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful,
So,
wonderful.
and yeah, in the near future, I wish I could write some fiction as
Yes.
well, because everyone in my community, has a story to tell. And yeah.
Yeah, so I
wish
understand.
in
I
future.
understand. That's a very, very important step. Apart from seeing the negative part of it, it's always good to have that positive part of it also shown. Just to the rich culture of your community also should be out to the people. Just to understand what it is actually. Great.
Exactly.
So we'll be wishing you all the best for that new book as well. Yeah, so before we close the session, I just want to have a small piece of advice for this new generation, especially, from you, Mayyu. Do you want to have some advice for this younger generation?
Yeah, just uh, 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 to learn and read book. Yeah. I mean, when you read book, it it doesn't mean that you write what the writer writing. Through writing, you can learn, so many things. You can learn different culture, and you can learn, different from different writers' perspective. Yeah. So and also support each other, especially support your friends and neighbors who are in need. And yeah, and also uh, uh, maintain your mental health. For me, it's very important because I have personally through.
Yeah.
Yeah, just maintain your mental health and yeah, and yeah.
Absolutely. That is so wonderful. Thank you so much for that lovely piece of advice. And Emily, what advice do you like to give for the upcoming authors, the authors, those who want to start writing a book? So what advice you want to give them?
Oh, I think you have to read and read. And yeah, and never forget your goal, and and yeah, and tried again and again. I think we wrote maybe 5 versions of this book and continue again and again. So never give up and believe in your dreams.
Yes, absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, work hard, believe in your dreams, and then live by them. And you have only one life. So, do whatever you want to do in life and absolutely support each other, like how Mayyu shared. You have to be a great help to your neighbor. And yep, that's it. So that was a great conversation with you both today. I had really good time. Thank you so much for being on our show tonight. And yeah, wishing you all the best for all your future endeavors. And yeah, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Arna, for having us. It's a
Yeah.
pleasure. Yeah.
Thank you.